Samantha Stone, and I'm very excited because this might be one of the last, at least in the near future, episodes with Mayor Scott Gavin. And I looked back at some numbers, Scott, the other day and realized that you have been coming on really almost every week for almost 4 years.
Amazing. Yeah.
And I look back at our good intentions, but thinking this was going to be a couple of weeks of COVID, giving people updates, and then we wouldn't do a weekly show after that. And I am deeply grateful for that, because you come on and you've answered every question, and I hope it started a tradition that we are able to continue as we move forward.
Yeah, it's been a great opportunity, and I appreciate what you've done and what Woburn Cable is, what it's meant to do really is, with the declining number of newspapers and reporting, you've really kind of been really good at getting information out that I think is important, that needs to continue. So I thank you for the opportunity, and it's been enjoyable getting on every Monday.
So 14 years of service, that's a long time to be mayor. And I know everybody goes into every campaign saying, I'm going to win. And that's how you have to think, right? And and all of that. So you may not know what's next for you, but are you taking some time to relax? Do you have a sense of what you're hoping to do next?
Kind of taking a little bit of a breather, but not too much, because I want to get right back into doing something. And, I am a lawyer, so I can always just start doing that again, doing private practice, which is an option. But, I enjoy the municipal work, as I think you've come to know. I really do enjoy it and find a lot of satisfaction in that. So, there may be different opportunities, at different levels of government. So I'll take a look at that. But I always, know that at the end of the day that I do also have my license, and I can go out and practice, and which I enjoy doing as well. So just kind of taking a look around, and trying to process still what happened, and take a look back and enjoy, the last 14 years, which I'd say was a great ride. And the most, I think, important thing was getting to really know so many great people, and just being able to help a lot of people. Not everybody, but you do the best you can. But I think one thing I can definitely say with pride is that leaving the city better than when I came here. So I do take pride in that.
I think it's a really exciting opportunity to look back on such a long term. My hope for you is that maybe you get some weekends back, and maybe you get some evening time back, whatever comes next, because we all know that being the mayor is definitely not a 40-hour-a-week job. And you certainly have attended all the things and participated in all of that. And I really am grateful, as I'm sure most of the people in our community are as well, because it takes a lot to give of that, and it's a lot of sacrifice of your family as well, for the time they shared of you with us.
I think one of the things that will be the hardest, and that's what people say, well, now you have your weekends back, your nights, and I don't know if I know any other way. It becomes, and the chief's the same way. It's like you talk to the chief and you talk to other. It just becomes part of you, and that's going to be the hardest thing, is saying, because I really enjoyed going. And sometimes you'd say, oh, geez, I've got to do this tonight. But again, you meet a lot of people, a lot of great people at these events, and you get a real sense of what the community's about. So yeah, it was, I'll definitely get that time back, but I'll tell you, I'll definitely miss that time too.
Well, hopefully we'll still see you around. You're still here. You're still in Woburn, and so I'm sure we'll see you at some things. But I know it's a lot, and I just want to say thank you. And today in Woburn, we didn't have a precedent like this. You didn't have a communications person. We have a lot of things, and so I'm like I said, very appreciative of the transparency that you've helped us develop across the city, and all the folks in your team who've joined us over the years as well. I really was shocked it was 4 years. I mean, I guess intellectually I knew that. But sitting down and really going back and looking at it, was kind of a remarkable thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known it was 4 years unless you brought it up. It seemed like just yesterday, and
right?
Yeah,
it's true, really, really fast.
Yep.
I'm sure you've met with Mike and have started transition planning, but I'm assuming that's going as planned, and you guys will continue to do that over the next few weeks.
Yeah, it's going really well, and Mike and I have talked a couple times and had good discussions about some of the things that he's looking to do, and you know, some of the things that I need to do over the next month just to make sure it's you know, at least that I've done what I need to do on my end. But he's ready to go, and you know, I think he's got some good ideas. So you know, it's going to be it'll be good for him.
Excellent. One thing that I just sort of operationally wanted to ask you about, because it was, I think, just passed by city council, at least I just heard of it really recently, is the PACE program. And I know that that is designed to help offset the cost and encourage people to have sustainable programs. So I assume, you know, that's, you know, solar panels or more efficient fuel systems in their homes, and maybe even weatherproofing and things like that. Can you tell us a little bit about, I read through the announcement and I wasn't quite clear what it means. I know you can go get like a special property assessment. So I'm assuming what you do is you basically pay for whatever that system that's approved is over time through your tax, but I'm not sure that I understood that correctly.
I mean, that's really it in a nutshell. And you know, I think it'll be good for, as you said, for sustainability. And yeah, we'll see how many people take advantage of the program. You know, it'll make it more affordable, you know, to spread that cost out for different people who want to do it. So it's going to be nice. It'll be good. You know, it'll work through the assessor's office, of course, the treasurers, and you know, Casey Haggerty kind of spearheaded that. So it was a nice effort by her as the economic development director. So there'll be more good things like that, I think, coming from her over the next couple of years. But we'll, you know, take that program one day at a time and see how it goes.
That's great. And at this point, I mean, I know that they'll be pulling together materials, I assume, to help people understand what will qualify and how to apply and to do all that.
You know, the one thing, like you said, is it's really like getting the word out there. So there'll have to be some workshops. You know, we'll have them over at the library or at City Hall, but the workshops will get the word out about, you know, how the program works and how to go about it. So it's definitely going to be educating the public about the benefits of it, and you know, encouraging them to take advantage of a great program.
I think it's wonderful. I'm really excited. I know when my husband and I decided to go solar, I think 5 or 6 years now ago, the federal tax benefits were a big part of how we could afford to do that. And so I think any incentives that allow people to make the decisions they want to and financially be able to spread that out, I think it's excellent. I'm really glad.
And geothermal, that you mentioned, the solar geothermal is the big thing, that the big movement now. And I just read in the Globe about a couple school districts who have taken advantage of it, and the cost has come way down because of the you know, the Inflation Reduction Act by the president, and some of the things that are put in there to incentivize more green usages and sustainable. So that's along with solar and geothermal. There's a lot of great opportunities for people to take advantage of.
Oh, that's excellent. Before I bring Chief Rufo on to talk about some things across the city, I just wanted to give you a chance to, anything else you wanted to share with us, or anything else going on that you want to mention before I let you go?
Yeah, really just quickly, that tax classification is Thursday night. That's when we set the tax rate. The council determines the residential factor. So that'll be a good one Thursday night. And you know, really, just my last time on or thereabouts, just want to thank the residents of Woburn for giving me the greatest opportunity that I could ever ask for. The past 14 years have been a great ride, a great experience, and you know, I'm truly honored and really blessed to have been in the position to do that. So I just want to really, from the bottom of my heart, thank everybody for giving me a great opportunity. And you know, it's my city. I'm never leaving, and it's a great opportunity, and I just want to thank them.
Well, thank you so much. I will tell you, you can actually see my hair is starting. So you have seen the full amount of hair to completely bald to start to come back. I'm really glad to get that in.
It looks really good. I was going to say that, but you
get a little. I was thinking of putting some snowflakes, Scott, in the side, dye a few snowflakes, but I don't think I have even enough hair to do that yet.
It's going to grow fast, so you look great. And, I'm glad you're feeling well.
Well, thank you again for all the time that you put on. I'm sure that there will be things that you will do in the future. You're always a friend of the show. Okay. We'll catch up in a few weeks, a couple months, and see what you're up to, and just touch base, I'm sure.
Yeah, thanks. Happy holidays, and we'll see you around.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
Chief Rufo, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to thank the folks on your team who I know worked over the holiday. You know, Thanksgiving is one of those things where is my favorite because it's all about the meal and the food and family and being together. And lots of people sacrifice doing that, so the rest of us can go about our business and all the things that go with it. So thank you to the team who stayed,
Thank you.
pulled the short straws and and had to work.
Oh, thank you.
One of the things that I wanted to ask you about, because there's been a lot of comments and thoughts and things about people who, sort of pickpocketing, or wallets being grabbed, or purses being snatched. I'm not sure that there is an increased number, or if it's sort of normal seasonal, or if in fact we are seeing an increase in that kind of crime. But I wanted to ask you about it because a lot of people have been sending me questions on that regard.
Certainly. I wouldn't say there's been an increase, maybe slightly seasonal. But I just think that there are more predators that are looking to accomplish their goals of whether it's stealing cell phones, pocketbooks, purses. And it's very common. The latest one was at Market Basket, and they use a distraction technique where someone will talk to the person, talk about a recipe, and when their back is turned, somebody will reach into a pocketbook, or people leave their cell phones out because they love their list on it, and it's just very easy prey. There definitely hasn't been an uptick. If it is at all, it's more seasonal. I just think that there are that many more predators, and we make it easy for them.
Yeah, that's a really good point. We have to be careful and just be aware always. We do live in a city, and unfortunately, that's just the reality. So we can do smart things like not leaving the phone out, not keeping the purse open,
particularly the bags. You leave it open, it's very easy. You could be looking at a shelf and someone will walk by, just grab what they can. So advisable, either have it covered or make sure your pocketbook is closed, and don't leave your cell phone out. Don't leave anything exposed.
Yeah, that's a really good point about the phones too, because I know my list, my to-dos, my everything is on it's on my phone, and so it is out. I'm actually fairly careful about my purse, maybe because of my upbringing where I lived and such, and did a lot of traveling, but I think I'm not as careful with my phone. So it's a good reminder. There was a very small theft at the library, actually, if what I heard was true, about the Friends of the Library has sort of a donation box to collect donations for books and things that go to library programming. And I understand that those folks, the thieves, were caught really quickly. So I guess, A, is that true? And B, congratulations if it is.
Absolutely true. It was last Monday. Two individuals went into the library and they located the gifting box, which unfortunately was on wheels. They both facilitated moving that box out the door. One held the door, the other one dragged it out. We got a call pretty quickly. Officers responded promptly. It was Officer Negri and Inspector Carew. Located the box behind the post office. It was smashed. So Officer Negri went into the library, requested video surveillance. He promptly put the photos of the suspects out off to the shift. Officer Pascuccio recognized them. And again, just great perseverance and diligence. Officer Negri went to the house. He knew where they lived, and they were promptly arrested. So.
Well, we're grateful for that. Grateful that nobody was hurt, but grateful how quickly that was solved.
Yeah,
so
it worked out very, very well.
Yeah, thank you. And so I guess the lesson to folks, there's cameras everywhere.
Absolutely.
So, now, I know not everywhere that we always want it to be. One of the incidents, there was I think an armed robbery, or at least an attempted armed robbery at Pocari's a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago now.
Yes.
I know that investigation was not quite as easy to solve, or, sort of where we are with that.
Great question. It was an armed robbery. The matter is still under investigation by our detective bureau, particularly run by Detective Post. The suspect is believed to have worked at Pocari's in the past. He is currently under arrest in Katy, Texas, where he fled. And after extensive networking with, our partnering agencies, number of state and local authorities, he is under arrest. They're about to execute a search warrant in the car. There is a warrant for his arrest also in another jurisdiction, which he'll be going to at first. But again, it is still under investigation. So I'm cautious as to alluding to much more about it.
No,
But
I
it is,
appreciate that. It sounds like tremendous progress, though.
it
So,
was, it's fantastic police work and great progress on it.
yeah. So thank you. We're lucky to have a dedicated force who's looking out for us in the times when those things happen. Yeah. You mentioned one thing that I think was really important. We were talking about sort of purses and phones and snatching and things like that, we can do things to help prevent it. We can't stop the intent, but we can certainly make it harder for people to take those things. This is a time of year in the holidays where people are particularly vulnerable to scams, right? And dishonesty. Are there other things that have been circulating around, or just things that have happened in years past that you think residents should be particularly aware of and thinking about?
Well, I think the scammers are becoming more prolific in a sense that there are more of them. They're using technology to better their ability to convince people to send them money. A couple of things right off the bat I would tell people is, number one, when when they're looking for money and there is any degree of urgency associated with sending the money, the red flags should go up. Any degree of urgency at all. Again, rest assured, local, state, federal law enforcement agencies or the like are not going to call you and ask for money requests. They're not going to do it. And, it's common to say, well, it'd be easier for you if you want to go to Walmart, get us a $500 gift card and people do it. So you very much rest assured that that is not going to happen with local, state, or federal agencies. It just never does. As technology grows, so does their capabilities. So most recently, scammers, they've actually acquired the number of the U.S. Marshal's Office. The newest U.S. Marshal in this district is former chief from Chelsea, Brian Keyes. They actually use his name, identify them as him, and the number on caller ID will actually come up as U.S. Marshal's Office. So the technology is there. It outwardly appears to be genuine. It's just not it's not true. We tell people never give passwords away, never give account numbers. And one of the most common things, and it still happens quite frequently, is if somebody, and this happens quite frequently on Craigslist, where you might be selling something, they'll say, okay, you want $1,000, I'm going to send you 1,500. You keep the extra 500, send us the 1,000 so we can give it to the shippers. And anytime they're requesting money, but ask that it be sent back, again, it's a red flag. I mean, those are some of the most common ones right now.
Yeah, I didn't fall for it, but I almost did. Probably about 10 months ago, it was sort of looked like it was from Eversource or Power Source saying, we're behind on paying, your power is going to go off. And I know that can't be true, right? Intellectually, but, they were convincing enough in the communication that I hung up the phone and I went and logged into my account to see, am I somehow behind and didn't realize it? But,
Right.
A lot of folks, you worry and you maybe don't take that extra step to verify, to hang up and call the number you think they're really calling from, and those kinds of things. So a good, healthy reminder that if it feels wrong and overly urgent, it probably is not true.
Right.
I know I've also seen a lot of emails saying, hey, we have a package of yours. You need to click here and pay us for delivery of that package. And this time of year, there's a lot of people getting things, sent to their homes for the holidays. So
yeah, that's another common one. It's usually for a very small fee. It's nothing consequential if somebody did do it. But, if they do that to 1,000 people a day and they're getting $3.83 to deliver the package, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And again, anytime they look for money, disconnect the phone. Any questions, disconnect the phone. You can always call back the number that called you. It's on your caller ID or on your cell phone. Call them back. And they're good at doing their research because, again, they're predators and they get background knowledge in you. And it's very common amongst elderly. They might have a nice nest egg for retirement. They know this. And then once you surrender a password or your account number, you're very vulnerable to a tremendous loss.
Well, good, healthy reminders for all us. The last thing I wanted to ask you about is traffic. So we know that traffic is always a conversation in Woburn. And you can do nothing to reduce the amount of traffic that we have. So we're not going to ask you about that. But one question that comes up quite a bit is about, we know we have officers that are dedicated to traffic violations and, keeping traffic flowing and directing traffic and things and giving out speeding tickets and things like that. And, just kind of remind us a little bit about how that team is structured and maybe how often we do give out speeding tickets and things in areas that might be more prone to speeding than others. I mean, I'll tell you, at commuter time, nobody is speeding anywhere down my street because they're crawling by. But I know there are times of day and there are locations where that's different.
Right. So the traffic bureau is comprised of a sergeant that heads it, then 4 patrolmen. The most recent change in the traffic bureau's Officer Joe Mantone retired in August. He filled it immediately with another patrolman, Norm Seguin. Those men are dedicated to traffic enforcement in the city. Anytime a citation, whether it's a warning, a criminal complaint, or a fine, it's purely at the discretion of the officers. And very commonly, a warning is often far more influential to a person than a fine is. We're not here to cause hardship, but we're here to change behavior. And they are dedicated to it all day long on their shift. They write tickets on a daily basis. So do members of the patrol force. Detectives even do. So we are aggressive at it. And it's probably the single biggest complaint that I'll field on a daily basis is traffic. And, we're a growing city. And as we grow, whether it's by population or by industry, the influx of traffic becomes greater, particularly at rush hours. They are active. They're very active. We can't do it all every minute of every day. Can't have somebody at every street. And, often we'll do traffic surveys where we put it's a device up. It'll show, you'll drive by, it'll display your speed, but at the same time, it accounts for the particular speeds of a roadway. It is more often than not, by doing this, that we should be increasing the speed of the roads. And that's not what we're not trying to do that, but that's what the surveys often produce. But it is a growing problem. It has been, but we are very proactive and aggressive at doing traffic enforcement.
Thank you so much for your time today and catching up
Certainly.
on some of the stuff that's going on across the city. One thing that people often ask and send little notes to me about is to ask you about, over the holidays, we know the team works really hard, and sometimes that means being away from family and such. What are ways that we as residents can, thank the officers who are working and maybe make their days just a little bit easier, a little bit kinder?
A simple thank you. That's, believe me, it'll go far.
Yeah. We don't do enough of that, right?
A lot of people do. Particularly, I think since the pandemic, people have been actually more thankful. And I mean, you go in for a cup of coffee and invariably, every single time you do, so thank you, officer, for your service. That's fantastic. That goes a long way. It really, really does. And we truly appreciate it.
Good advice that everyone can do. We have no excuses not to be able to do that. So, Chief, thank you so much for joining me. Anything else that you'd like to add before I let you go?
No, just thank you. I hope everyone has a safe holiday season. And if you have any questions, please feel free to call.
Excellent. Thank you for joining us. Woburn, as always, please continue to take good care of each other. I do want to make one mention. There was a little bit of an error in a Times article about the gun violence prevention vigil for victims of gun violence that's happening. And I want to give you the date to make sure that everybody has the correct one. It is in fact Sunday, December 3rd at 4 p.m. inside the Methodist Church. The paper mentioned an outside service. We will not have to stand in the cold. And I know we talked about it at last week's show, but because there was a little bit of the error in the paper, I just want to make sure everybody had that information. So hope to see many of you there. And as always, just please continue to take good care of each other.